Hi guys, welcome to another Southern African history episode. Today we're going to be looking at the Rozvi State, and since it is the last of the Shona states we're going to be looking at, we're going to do it in a different way than we normally do. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Historians agree that the founder of the Rozvi State was Changamire Dombo, a vassal of the Mtapa who finally rebelled and founded his state, southwest Zimbabwe, in the strength of cattle. Extensive study by the learners must be on the social, economic, and political organizations of this Rozvi State. Equally important, the decline of the study should be studied together with the impacts of the Nguni incursions. The role of cattle in the state and the Ndebele-Rozvi relations should be taken note of. Some of the Rozvi kings included Chirisa Muru I, Chirisa Muru II, Changamire Dombo, Gumbore Shumba, Gomore Mvura, Rupunda Mananga, and Nechadzike. Cattle was an important aspect in the Rozvi State, and cattle was also used in various things in the state, which included the payment of tribute, Koronzera, used to get food such as milk and meat, used in trade, used in ritual ceremonies, used to pay lobola or rora, and the skins were also used to make shields, drums, and mats. Since the Rozvi was a powerful state which had expanded, it had several capitals which included Danamombe, Naletali, Dlondlo, Manyanga, Kame, Tsindi, and Tambazi Kamambo. The Nguni groups which attacked the Rozvi State were Maseko, Kololo, Ngoni, Debele, Ngwane, Msenengoni, and Jerengoni. The economic activities of the Rozvi State included cattle rearing, crop cultivation, trade, tribute, mining, raiding, hunting and gathering, blacksmithing, pottery and weaving, and fishing and basketry. The Rozvi had a strong and powerful army, and it had duties which were expanding the frontiers of the Rozvi State, defending the state, ensuring that the subjects obey the king. It was also used for raiding and for attacking the invaders, e.g. the Portuguese in 1693. It was also used for protecting the refugees who fled from the Portuguese, and also it was used to maintain peace and order within the state. As they say, everything that goes up must come down. The Rozvi State came down also, and the reasons for the collapse of the Rozvi State included successive droughts, succession disputes, disagreement between political leaders and religious leaders, the exhaustion or depletion of resources, the vastness of the empire since it had expanded, the Rozvi's failure in incorporating some chiefdoms, disruption of trade by the Portuguese, civil wars, and the Nguni incursions. The Rozvi belonged to the Moyo totem and were patrilineal. Their homesteads were made up of lineages. Those who owned large herds of cattle were highly respected, and they acquired a high social status. The Rozvi practiced practical rituals, religious, and rainmaking ceremonies. They believed in the existence of the supreme being and spirits. The Rozvi ancestors were highly regarded, and the king could preside over all national ceremonies. Religion and politics in the Rozvi State were interwoven, and Mambo was regarded as a semi-god. The Rozvi were polygamous, wealthy men who could marry many wives. Lobola was paid in form of cattle and even iron tools. The wearing of glass beads was regarded as a status of symbol. The Koronzera system was carried out by the king to help his subjects. The Rozvi enjoyed the veneration of spirits through ceremonies called Bira. Religious authority relied on the support of the military leader called Tumbari, who stood in the place of the Mambo after his death until a new Mambo was installed. Crop cultivation was the backbone of the Rozvi economy. They grew crops such as sorghum, millet, and rapoko. Produce from agriculture could be traded or used to pay tribute or for consumption. The produce from the king's field could be distributed to the subjects during the drought or used during national ceremonies. Cattle rearing constituted the basis of the Rozvi economy. Cattle were used to pay lobola, to provide meat and milk, as well as to pay tribute to the Mambo. The king used cattle to make the Kuronzera system effectual. Cattle were a living bank of the Rozvi people. The largest herd belonged to the king. The Rozvi people were involved in both internal and external trade. In external trade, items such as ivory, gold could be exchanged with exotic goods such as beads and clothes. Trade in the Rozvi State was conducted through the Washambadzi. Tribute payment was another economic activity in the Rozvi State. The subjects could pay tribute to the king in form of cattle, beads, bangles, gold, and grains. The payment of tribute to the king was a sign of loyalty. Those who refused to pay tribute were subjected to raiding. Mining and hunting were practiced by the people of the Rozvi State. Gold mining was done after harvest. Gold could be used in trade and to pay tribute. Elephant hunting was conducted to get ivory. Ivory also was important in the trade and tribute payment. Other economic activities were the same as those of the Great Zimbabwe and the Mutapa State. The Mambo was the head of the state and he was a hereditary ruler. He was overall in charge of military, social, economic, religious, and political power. The Changamire, or king, ruled with assistance of the Dari, which comprised of priests, military leaders, and provincial governors. Provincial chiefs and sub-chiefs were appointed by the king to be in charge of the provinces and chiefdoms. The headman played an important role in the Rozvi politics. The king was the distributor of the land and holder of other property. The collapse of the Rozvi State had many contributing factors. Successive droughts resulted in the depletion of cattle herds, leading to the collapse of the state. Many people started to migrate in search of better grazing lands. Succession disputes hindered the survival of the Rozvi State. The disputes culminated into civil wars. The civil wars of the late 18th century brought divisions in the state. There were serious disagreements between Gomoremvura and his son over the Rozvi rulership, and this division led to the collapse of the empire. Disagreements between the Rozvi rulers and religious leaders led to the collapse of the Rozvi State. Oral tradition says that these quarrels led to drought, which greatly affected livestock production, which was the base of the Rozvi economy. Depletion of resources such as gold made the decline of the Rozvi State. Exhaustion of gold fields meant loss of foreign trade, thereby killing the lifeline exchange in foreign goods. The failure of the Rozvi to incorporate some chiefdom like Kalanga led to the decline of the state, as these groups frequently threatened the sovereignty of the Rozvi State. The Nguni invasions was another cause for the collapse of the Rozvi State. The Rozvi State was attacked by at least 6 Nguni groups, which include the Ngwane, Maseko, Ngoni, and Kololo. Capable Rozvi rulers were killed by these invaders, and this caused political displacement. For example, the invasion which led to Owechipi, who was to succeed Chirisa Muru, to flee to Nyaningwe, leaving a power vacuum.